gone. As soon as they seen all those beagles, they were gone. And we stayed there roughly for about a week. And after a week, we had heard that we got wind that the company had gone back home. They were on a little break. So we decided to go back down. We went to Rogersville to make another camp because we had been expecting them to come to Rogersville. So when we got to Rogersville, we made a camp, and that was in August. That was throughout August. We had our time to do public relations. We had numerous amount of groups from different organizations that wanted to help us for the same cause. And we all pretty much gave us time to go out there and people and get strong. And during that time, I had decided to go back home. And when I went home, I was there for about a week and a half. And when I got home, I heard that the company had come back, and they had a compound. And the Sioux told me on the internet that they were back. So my first thing was to go look on YouTube and see if they got any new videos of what's going on. And when I went on YouTube, I seen this one video that was the most empowering video I have ever seen. It was a bunch of people all fighting for the same cause. They all marched up, and then they all did a round dance around the compound that SWN was with them. And the compound is about 300 feet by 400 feet, so that's a lot of people for a round dance. And it really lit the flame in my heart. As soon as I seen that video, I said, okay, this is it. I was back on the road again, and I was hitchhiking to get to Elsipogtog. So many hours later, it was just before dark, I got back to Elsipogtog. And when I did, this was in Rexton, New Brunswick, and this was where the raid took place on October 17th. When I got there, I seen RCMP cruisers, and they had blocked the roads. I said, I thought we made a blockade, but really it was the RCMP that made the blockade. So people said, don't wear your camo, because if you wear your camouflage, as soon as you go in, you're going to get searched. You get arrested. I said, I'll wear my colors. I said, I'll wear them proud. So, but I wore them, but I put my other clothes over it. And when I got to the police line, I seen everybody going through the middle between the cop car. And then I put on my camo, I had my camo bag. I went towards the side, and they didn't even see me. I stopped right in there, they didn't even see me. And when I got in there, the atmosphere within our camp was so amazing. I always explain it as the same as a powwow. But a powwow, every powwow I seen usually lasts for the weekend. This was a 3-week-long powwow. And the things that happened there were so amazing. I took part in this one march while I was there. We had a First Nation child, and she was dressed in regalia. And behind her was women drummers. And then behind them was the Warrior Society as a form of protection. And we marched up that road. We had about 500 people. And they sang the honor song, and we all went up. That was the most amazing thing I have ever seen. And it gave me so much pride, because we were all fighting for the same cause, and we were all united, and it was so amazing. When we walked up, it filled my pride. During that 10 years of institutional oppression I was speaking about earlier, I had no pride. I had lost all my pride. But during my time in New Brunswick, I had gained all that pride back. And it felt good. The atmosphere in there, we had a sacred fire, and they were constantly smudging the area, purifying it, and there was always drummers. And the feeling, it felt like I was back in the old days, and it felt really good. And we had many people coming in that told us the atmosphere was different from the outside of our camp and the inside. And on the outside, they felt like they couldn't express themselves freely without there being any repercussions. And but when they came into camp, they could speak whatever they want. We would protect them. They felt safe, and they felt that same sense of pride that I felt. And it made them feel so amazing. And we had so many people coming together. This is not just a First Nation issue. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. If the water is poison, then whatever color your skin is, it's no good. And at this one particular time, I had gone. We have many roles and responsibilities as warriors during a time when there's a protest. We are taught about respect, and we are taught about how to act in front of people and to treat people with respect. And if elders need help, you help your elders out. But we were taught about our rights, and we were also taught that we can fight for a better tomorrow. And for me, I was told, I had these women come up to me, which were drummers. They had the most amazing voice I've ever heard. They came up to me and they asked me, they said when they walked through the woods that they heard something, so they wanted me to come with them the next time. So I didn't mind because the sound was so empowering, the sound was so amazing. There's times when they were drumming, I would just bawl out and start crying because it felt so good. They asked me to come to be their bodyguard in the woods, and I felt good. They wanted me to be a bodyguard. I felt pretty good. And I wasn't scared. They said they had night vision. And when I went to the woods, I thought they had night vision goggles. But when we got in the woods, it was really their eyes that were adapting to the darkness. There was no night visions or no lights. It was just the plain eyes. But as you went to walk through the woods in the pitch black, I could see where their night vision came because you could see the path very clearly. So I went with them. We would go to certain locations where RCMP have set up their blockades and they set up their checkpoints. We would go over and we would walk out of the woods and the women would start drumming. And you want to see the RCMP freak out. It would scramble all over the place. Then we would drop down again and then go to another spot. It was a form of psychological warfare. It was amazing. There was one particular time when I was walking in the woods with them. I never believed in spirits growing up. But when they sing a song, the song is really a prayer. And they told me, tonight our prayers are very strong. And I just agreed with them, and I wanted to go with them because it got me out of the camp, and it also got me away from the hard work, and I wanted to be with them and listen to them sing. So this one particular time, like I said, I never believed in spirits, but the time when they said their prayers were so strong, they started singing, and all of a sudden I see something in the woods. It was like a firefly. But this was the end of October. Maritime province, we don't have fireflies at the end of October. It was like a spirit going like that right through the woods. It was amazing. After I seen that, I said, I actually believe in spirits. And I made a joke to the girls. I said, that could be an RCMP with their night vision goggles. But it wasn't. It was amazing. We did that for so many nights. And this one night in particular, on October 16, I went home with one of the drummers to go do some laundry. And I did some laundry, and I was sleeping, and when I woke up, I got a text on a Facebook message, and the message said that the camp was being raided. I heard that before. They said, oh, we're going to get raided, and it never happened, so I kind of brushed it off at first, but I seen so many people there was so much people commenting on the status that I knew that this wasn't the actual raid that was taking place. So Elsie Booker is about 15 minutes from Rexton. So I got a ride with the women. When we got to Rexton, you could see that the RCMP had blocked off all access into the camp. And when we got there, the RCMP said, you guys can come in, but you guys got to park your car over there. So they parked their car, and I made an attempt to go in. And as I was going in, they said, okay, if you go in, you're going to be under arrest. So I kind of backed off because I didn't want to be under arrest. After that, then one of the RCMP members asked me, what's your name? I said, my name is Nigel Stevens. I used my brother's name. They didn't buy it. And I heard one of must have been the commanding officer, and he said, no, that's not Nigel Stevens, that's Cody Stevens, and he's arrestable. And I knew I was screwed. But I had 4 RCMP members that rushed me right away. I thought they were going to arrest me because they had said I was arrested, but really they went for my bag. It was a military-style camouflage bag. As soon as they seen the bag, they said, where's the grenades? We heard you got grenades. Where's those grenades? And I had 4 RCMP officers rip my bag out, and I look over there, they're searching it. That's the bag I used to do my laundry. They were a little pissed off to see that it was just clean clothing. And as I seen them all focusing on my bag, I seen them searching my bag. So I said, here's my chance, so I made a run for it. And I said, I'm going to go in the best place that I believe would be the best spot to go in. This happened in a split second. So I went for that spot. The RCMP members must have thought the same because when I got there, I got ambushed. The RCMP were waiting for me. And they surrounded me. And at first, they weren't really pushing me around very much. And I lit up a cigarette, and then they handcuffed me. I had my hands behind my back. And then there was some kind of conversation between me and the officer. I wasn't too pleased with the officers, and I was kind of talking back to them. So I had one of them slam me to the ground. And as I was standing there with my hands behind my back, I had a cigarette in my mouth. So when I landed on the ground, my face landed between, I had the cigarette right between my face and the ground, so I got burned. And I was like, oh shit, I said, I'm burning. I went like that to move my head. I got charged for obstruction of justice for attempting to headbutt the officer. Then the RCMP member, I let him know about the cigarette, and he put my head down again, and even put my head in a twisting manner to put out the cigarette. He brought out the cigarette out. My face was right on the cigarette again, and I flinched. I was screaming. I said, I'm burning. And I went like that again, and I got charged for resisting a police officer. And I ended up getting overwhelmed by cops. I had no chance, so I had to go in the police car. And when I was in the police car, I was really upset because as I was getting arrested, all I could hear was a loudspeaker. And they had, the RCMP had this big trunk, and they had a loudspeaker. And all you could hear was, attention, attention, attention. You are prohibited from hindering, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't quite remember. And that was going on, and I kind of faced a little trauma from that incident. When I was in the back seat, I was pissed off, so I was going up. I was all over, banging into everything in the back seat. And during the process, I broke the door. And my first thought was, I'm screwed now. I wasn't aware of my charges that I've already been charged from. And I said, oh no, I'm getting charged for mischief. And I knew it carried about 1 to 2 seconds. And so when the RCMP came to transfer me to another, they had to transfer me to another vehicle because where I was in the police car, it was getting overwhelmed by people. They were getting outnumbered. And they felt like they had to put me in the other car. And when they were putting me in the other car, the part where I broke it, I went on the other side. So he picked me up on this side, they didn't see it. They put me into Department of Correction. It was a women's penitentiary prison there. They put me in the back and they handcuffed me. During that time, I was resisting. And when they put me in the back seat, they put the seatbelt down, he hands behind my back, and I kept unhooking the seatbelt, and I kept putting the handcuffs in front of me, and feeling like I was being resisting. And so finally, one of the RCMP members said, you want to be like that? And he put the seatbelt and pinned me down, and held the seatbelt all the way from Rexon to Moncton. And there was, I had received, on the way to the jail in Moncton, I was assaulted by the RCMP members. And during that time, they said some horrible things against my people. These weren't just racial thoughts, it was threats of causing bodily harm. I would like to go into detail and explain what they did to me, but out of respect to the 2 inmates that are still in here, I learned with the RCMP is if you catch them in them doing wrong, and if you let people know that they're doing wrong, they're going to retaliate. And my friends, first time it was, they had like 4 charges, and every other week the RCMP kept coming over for new charges. So out of respect to them, I want to keep that part of my story quiet, just till they're sentenced. And when they're sentenced, I want to bring it all out. Then I was taken to the RCMP detachment, Kodiak detachment. I was one of the first ones arrested. So as we were pulling into the police station, I seen this armored personnel carrier. It had 8 wheels. It said RCMP, had a big water cannon like that. And my first initial thought was, man, like poor people, they're going to get slaughtered. And it was difficult for me seeing that big truck because I knew that the RCMP were ready for business. They were ready to do whatever they had to do to get us out of there. But when I was in jail, I kept asking, I need to wash my ass for toilet paper. They wouldn't give me toilet paper. I was hungry, I asked them for food. They wouldn't give me no food. It was after, I've been in jail before, so I know how to pick at the guards to get what you want. So I asked for my food. They wouldn't give me my food, so I covered the camera. I said, they're going to come and give me my food. And I kept covering the camera. Eventually, they brought us supper. Supper to them was a little protein bar. It was a small chocolate bar and a small box of orange juice. And we had that to be honest. And the RCMP came over. They said, we're going to let some people out on a promise to repair. And they're going to get out and they don't have to go to court. So I still had that piece of hope in me and saying, man, I might get out. So every time they came to get people, I'm like, am I next? Am I next? My time didn't come. So the next day, we all went to court. And while we were in court, they said, we're going to release some people from court. And the same thing again. When they started calling people's names, I'm like, am I next? Am I next? My name wasn't called. I have a pretty long criminal record. As I was mentioning earlier about that institutional oppression I faced, because of my criminal record, I wasn't able to get bail. So I had to stay. I had a 2.5-day bail hearing. And during the bail hearing, the RCMP made me look like a horrible man. The things they said about me in the bail report made me seem like I was an evil man. They found it necessary to keep bringing up the RCMP cop cars that were on fire. And during my bill hearing, they would say, furthermore, 6 RCMP cruisers got caught on fire. And the RCMP cruisers got caught on fire at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I was arrested at 8 o'clock. But they still felt the need to keep bringing that up. So I didn't get bail, and I was sent back to jail. And when we were in jail, the first day they put us into general population. That was where regular inmates go at when you first go in there. And I was in there for the night. I got pretty comfortable. As soon as I got there, I made my bed and I got my sheet ready. And I was used to that kind of life, that feeling you get when you're in the institution. I felt it before, so I got pretty comfortable. I knew what I was doing, and I made my bed. Not to mention, I had a clean bed and clean sheets. I was sleeping in the teepee all summer by the ground, so it was pretty comfortable. We slept pretty good. And the next day, I woke up. And then all of a sudden you see 7 members of the correctional staff. They came in and they rushed my friend's cell. There were 6 of us arrested, so they arrested the first 2. They came to extract them out of the cells. My first initial thought was that maybe they did something wrong, or maybe they did some contraband or something. And I said, they got into trouble. So they took off, and about 20 minutes later they came back. They come marching up the stairs, and we were on the 2nd level. They took my other 2 friends. So by the time they came to me, I knew that they were going to come and pick me up. So when they came to pick me up, I was pretty upset. I was pissed off. I was resisting again. And they said, if you want to be like that, we're going to come back. They said, we're going to put on a riot here. We'll come back for you. So I said, I'm not going to, if they go put on their riot gear and if I resist, they're going to beat me. I'm going to give them a reason to beat me. They'll be glad to beat me. So I complied. I told them, I'm ready. Take me. I said, they gave me orders. They said, hands behind your back. They handcuffed me. If the stairs are spiral all the way down, they made me go down backwards with my head down while I was handcuffed. And they made me go all the way to the solitary confinement. Solitary confinement, they refer to it as a hole. You're locked in the cell for 23 hours a day. You're allowed one half hour to shower each day and 1/2 hour to go outside. But other than that, you're in the cell for 23 hours a day. The cell is probably about 9 feet by 6 feet with a little mat. And if you're lucky, they'll give you a book. They had us in there for the first 3 weeks in solitary confinement. And during that time, I tried to call my mother, because the last thing my mother knew, the RCMP were coming with their assault rifles. My mom lives about 6 hours from Elsie, so by the time she gets word of what's going on, it's a different story. So I wanted to let my mother know that I was okay, that I was in jail, but I was not harmed. But they wouldn't give me that call. We were denied phone calls for the first 3 weeks. They said it was operational means for the security of the institution. But for me, I think they caught me out because they didn't want me to fuel the ongoing protests that are happening across Canada. When I got arrested, at first I thought, oh man, it's over. All that hard work all summer, it's over. The first 3 weeks I was so upset because I thought it was over. But little did I know, I didn't know what was happening on the outside. I didn't know there was so many protests going on. And after that 3 weeks, I called my mom and let her know how I was doing. It was kind of difficult when they treated us like high security inmates, because they put us in this courtroom in Moncton. When you order this little box, it's like that thing bulletproof glass, and they put us in the box. That's when I came out, I seen my mom. And I seen her. I didn't know she was there. When I first got there, I was waving at everybody, and I was happy to see everybody. As soon as I seen my mom, my face went down. I just wanted to cry. But my poor mom, she was crying. I told her, Mom, be proud. And I told her, be happy for what I'm doing, what I stood up for. She was happy, and I didn't get bailed. So after that 3 weeks, during that time I was in the hole, I had asked for traditional medicine, if I can get a smudge so I can purify myself. I asked for a spiritual advisor to give me advice about how to keep my tradition alive. Because I felt really traditional, I felt really good, and I felt a lot of pride. I wanted to keep that pride going in the institution. So the chaplain said, it's hard to find someone that's going to come in on a volunteer basis to come give you traditional advice. Yet here he was getting paid for being a chaplain in the jail. And I didn't get it. So it was until my lawyer did a press conference letting the people know that how we were being treated in the institution, about us being in the hole, being denied traditional medicine. The next day they had someone to come in and smudge us. We found someone pretty quick. So after that, I felt pretty good. I felt that pride for about a week. And I felt like I need to smudge again, so I asked him again. I put in another request. All the requests were denied. They kept giving me a runaround. I asked the chaplain, I said, I really need to have my traditional medicine. I think it was because you have to like the medicine, and it's a medicine. They were scared that people were going to smoke it, or I didn't know what they thought. I asked the chaplain again, can I get some traditional medicine? He said, well, we're doing everything within our power to try and get that traditional medicine. But if you want, in the meantime, here's a Holy Bible for you to read. That's not how I pray. So I took the Bible. I had some tobacco, so I needed some rolling paper. So I took the Bible. I was constantly being denied that right to practice my spiritual beliefs. When you're in jail, it's a dark time in someone's life. It helps to have that traditional feeling. It gives you a sense of hope. I didn't get it. And it was my rights as, not only a First Nation person, but my rights as a human being to practice my spirituality were denied. When I was in that hole for that first 3 weeks, I got a strip search. At least every 2 days. Sometimes every 3 days. But it was constant strip search. And the strip searches are of a very personal nature. And it's difficult when you're exposing yourself to another man and he's watching you. All that private when I went out the door. The strip searches weren't looking for contraband, because we were locked in solitary confinement. I had no contact with other inmates, so how are you going to bring in contraband? They were punishing me. I think they were trying to break me. And during that time, They couldn't break me. All that really pissed me off. They made me, I said, now I'm going to keep going, I'm going to keep fighting, and bring awareness to what they're doing within the institution. And so on December 20th, I went back to court. This was after 63 days of being in jail without a trial. And they had told me I had received one crazy charge of forcible confinement. And that's a serious offense, carries a maximum sentence of 15 years. But they said I'll get maybe 2 years or 2.5 years if I'm found guilty. So on the 20th, they said if I pled guilty to the incident with the cigarette where I attempted to headbutt the officer, where I obstructed the officer, and if I pled guilty to that and another charge, and on the video, that the evidence that one of my charges, they have video evidence. And on the video, I was looking at the video, it clearly shows on the video that that is not me. It shows on the video it's not me, and it's clear as daylight. But they still felt the need to charge me. So on the 20th, they said, Cody, if you the Crown came up with a deal, he said if I pled guilty to all these ridiculous charges that they would throw away the crazy charge of forcible confinement. It was December 20th, it was getting pretty close to Christmas, and I wanted to see my children, so I took the deal. I said, I'm going to plead guilty. So when I pled guilty, they let me out. And during the time when I was in jail, I had received so many letters of support. I had letters from Australia, I had letters from Ireland, I had letters from Europe, all over the United Kingdom. I had letters from people from all across Canada. I saved all those letters. I want to save them. It was pretty awesome, the letters. It helped for me. Every time I felt down, I felt upset, and I felt the hope was going, then I would get a big chunk of letters, sometimes 5 a day, and it helped me through my time in jail. So when I got out on the 20th, I had my sage. I said, I want to pray, I want to go smudge. But I couldn't bring myself to it because of what the ordeal I had just gone through. I've been to jail before, but this time was different because of the way they treated me in the jail, how I was treated as like a terrorist. And it was difficult. So it took me 3 weeks before I was able to smudge again. I got to smudge again, and it felt good. I'm slowly starting to get back into smudging again. When I got out of jail, I asked, Suzanne was telling me a story about when she went to Toronto and how she shared her story and how she has spoke to people. And I told her, Sue, next time you go somewhere that far, I want to come. Let me know. I said, I'll come with you. I want people to hear my story. So she called me 2 days later. She said, I hope you're ready. We're going to British Columbia. So here we are. It was quite the experience. Back home, not many people know about the struggles that First Nation people face, and not even the First Nation people back home know about it. So from me coming here and traveling and seeing different reserves and seeing their struggle, I can go back home and let them know that we're not the only people that are facing these oppression. So when I go back home, I got so many things to do. I'm going to be so busy because I got a whole different plan when I come home. I hope to go back home and empower more people to give this. I hope that their heart gets that same spark that was lit in my heart during that time when I was a book. But this time in British Columbia, it was amazing. I can't put into words how awesome this experience was. The land is so beautiful. And one thing I'm not used to is back home in Mi'kmaq, within the Maritime provinces, you only got one nation, and that's the Mi'kmaq people. And here in British Columbia, you got so many different nations within the same province, and that's something I'm not used to. It's going to take a little getting used to. But I want to keep coming back to British Columbia. I want to come here. I really look forward to one thing that I want to be a part of is Connie was telling me about when her community gets all together for the salmon run, the annual salmon run, and we all get together as a community to catch the salmon. And it's a good experience that I want to be a part of. I hope to come back and be a part of that in when the salmon run comes, if not this year, maybe next year.